Hi everybody, welcome to the Sichot HaRan shiur. We are up to Sichot 193 and I'm very excited because it's going to be talking about two things that we're constantly busy with, money and food. So let's dive right in and Mirz Hashem, we'll learn something great together. The Rebbe said that one must use the same powers with money as he does with food. These powers are acceptance, retention, digestion, distribution, and expulsion. When you eat, you make use of your power of acceptance, right? We intake our food. You also make use of your power of retention. We hold the food so that it does not immediately leave our body. You then use your faculty of digestion and distribution, delivering the food to all parts of the body. The brain receives the choicest parts, and with the next best going to the heart. Each part of the body receives what is best for it. Following this, you make use of your power of expulsion, excreting the unusable portion of the food, and all this is well known, right? So food goes through a cycle. We intake it, we retain it, we distribute it, and then we excrete it. Money requires these same powers. You must use your power of retention and not spend the money immediately, not like those who have a great desire for money and spend their lives acquiring it only to squander it immediately. Then you must make use of your power of distribution, budgeting your income for all your necessities. Right? So money is the same. We intake it, we receive it, and then we have to retain it and not squander it and spend it immediately. And then we have to distribute it to what's worth it, what's not worth it. We have to do a cheshbon and figure out where the money should go. It is the same as with food. The choicest portion must be given to charity. The rest must be distributed properly, just as in the case of food. The Baal Shem Tov once explains why he accepted money from the wicked. He said, I distribute all the money that I receive. That which comes from the righteous is spent on the needs of pious wayfarers who visit me. Other monies are distributed accordingly, but money coming from the wicked is spent for my horses and laborers. The money might be all mixed together, but it is automatically distributed in such a manner. The Baal Shem Tov was able to distribute his income automatically. The same was true of his power of expulsion. The unusable portion of his income was expelled and used for common laborers and horses. So the Baal Shem Tov said about himself that when he would receive money from people, giving tzedakah to him, then he would know exactly how it should be separated and where the money should go. The Rebbe said the passion for riches comes mainly to one who does not have a vessel to receive. So just to repeat that line, Rebbe Nachman saying that the passion for riches, like this taiva, this desire to constantly acquire more and more and more, it comes to somebody who doesn't have they don't have a vessel, they don't have a kli to receive. And the same is true of eating. For certainly, if one knows how to eat, ... Desire is mainly for that which is not necessary. The same is true of money. I have a vessel. So, Rebbe Nachman, very interestingly, is talking to us about our relationship with money and food, and we all have a relationship with it. I was even talking to some of my friends recently, and we were talking about so much of marriage stuff has to do with how your spouse spends money and how you spend money, and it's a topic. It's always a topic. Everybody has their own personal relationship with money. Some people, they spend too little. Some people, they're nervous to spend, they spend too little, but they're nervous to spend all the time. Other people are it makes them feel good to blow large sums of money. Everybody has their different relationships with it. And the same, and I think it's totally the same with food. People have all sorts of relationships with food as well, and it could be practically from eating healthy, eating disorders, overeating, undereating, whatever. These are two things, money and food, that every human being, they're necessities, and every human being needs to interact with it every day. And the question is, what is your relationship with it? And Rebbe Nachman is trying to talk to us about this. What's your relationship with these things? And he's trying to teach us, first of all, just simply, stam, we this is the way money and food goes. We intake it, we retain it, we distribute it, and then we excrete it. That's how both things go in the same way. So I feel like it's kind of like deep breath. Like it actually, it's not more and it's not less. That's what it is. We make it into like this big, big subject, but that's really all that food and money is. And we know that, I mean, it's after Pesach, so we know that that money and food could be the type of thing that really control us and that we could be slaves to. And Rebbe Nachman's teaching us here, like if you have the proper vessel, if you have the vessel to receive, then really you are the one in charge, and you're not a slave to it, but it is, a means for you. And we're going to talk more about this, but just interesting to note also, my sons were telling me that they saw like a YouTube video about this guy who did like a dopamine, like get off dopamine challenge, and he didn't eat. I didn't see it, so I'm saying the secondhand. So he took pills instead of food, and all he did was drink water and like work out for maybe an hour a day and like walk his dog. And that's it. And otherwise he did nothing. I think this was like a challenge for 4 days. And in the beginning of basically his brain from like when he started the challenge to when he ended the challenge was like, it looked like 2 different brains, like everything that was going on. And he said he was like much more self-aware, motivated, and he was like, he didn't have like foggy brain, and he was much clearer because like, also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but also like no cell phones, no digital. It's just like all this stuff that we like inundate into us constantly, and including food, like food is part of it. Like we're not just eating, most of us are not just eating for nourishment. We're eating as like an activity, How many times do you open the fridge a day? How many times, Like it's like we're all looking for that dopamine, constant dopamine. So it's just like something to keep in mind and something that I thought was interesting. But basically, like we have to find this balance between things serving us rather than us serving it. And I think like Rebbe Nachman talks about in this piece that a person actually needs like a kli, a vessel, to receive properly for eating and for money. And I think like in general, Rebbe Nachman, from other pieces that we learned, like he means like not looking to these things to fill a void. Like we're trying to come to everything that we interact with on our everyday lives, like from a place of wholeness and from a place of being fully yourself and a place with gratitude and a settled mind. And then greeting those temptations, essentials from that place. So, many of us, like we feel like, I think it's human nature, we're always feeling the lack. Like our brain, I heard from Rav Gersey, that our brain always goes to drama. And like it goes to drama and lack. Like it's always, we wake up in the morning and we think like, I didn't get enough hours of sleep. How am I going to function through the day? Before our feet even hit the floor, those are our thoughts, But I heard that Henny Machlis used to say, and she would host like hundreds of people every Shabbos, and she would say, like one of her mantras was, I have enough money, I have enough time, and I have enough energy. Like imagine if we went through life with that mantra going through our head at all times. I have enough money, I have enough time, and I have enough energy. Imagine how much more we'd accomplish. And maybe some of us accomplish nonstop, but imagine how much calmer we would be accomplishing it rather than like hustling and pushing through and trying to make it all work, Just like go into it calmly because I have enough time, I have enough money, and I have enough energy. I got this. It would be like a totally different mindset. And I think that's also why like the second we wake up in the morning, like we're supposed to say Moda Ani, like, thank you Hashem that I woke up today. Like, instead of like that first thought of like, oh my gosh, I didn't get enough sleep, like I'm so tired. Or it's just like, thank you Hashem that I woke up. Again, totally different mindset. So I was having some fun with ChatGPT last night. And because this also, it's like something that I struggle with. Like, I want to like feel less lack in my life and feel more grateful. And then I came up with like some very practical ideas that I'm like so happy to share here. But it says like, one of the ideas, I'm just going to read a few, but it's like, start the day with the counter frame. Like, instead of like getting nervous in the morning about your lack of sleep and everything you need to accomplish in the day, and will you have enough energy and will you have enough time? Think of three specific things that you already have. Like, from the second you open your eyes, like, many of us thank God, like, we have enough health to function, right? Maybe we have a relationship that's meaningful to us. Or maybe there's just like, I slept on a bed last night and it was comfortable. Like, just basic needs met. There's enough food in the fridge that I won't starve to death. Like, just like simple, right away, think about what you have rather than what you don't have. And I think this was also a big one, like, define what enough is. Like, when there's no clear end point, like, many times we're just like constantly just like trying to intake. But like, we should ask ourselves sometimes, like, what counts as enough sleep, and what counts as, like, even financially, what counts as enough for now? Like, what do I need to get by for this month or for today? And like, really like sit on that and figure it out. And then like, just instead of like just like this empty pit of a goal, maybe let's just focus on like what we need in the moment. And of course, reducing comparison is huge. Every time we look to our neighbor and, there's something going on there that seems better than what we have going on with us, which, again, human nature, we always do that. Even whether it's true or not, we love to do it. But there's, it hurts. And there's a lot, like, this whole game of comparison, like, really adds to us feeling less than. So I think that's like a really, really big point too. But and then this is like a very Breslov theme also, like building like a vessel daily. Like, think about like small tasks that you fulfilled, like at the end of the day, and just keeping small commitments and just like being true to what you are, or what you want to be, and just like say out loud, like thank you. Because all this, like Nikudas Tovos, like, focus on one good point that you did that day. And it really, it helps you just like be grateful for where you are and who you are and the people around you, and in relationships too. So, and like, there's also just being present in the moment, I think, is also a big one, because so many of us, like, we're most of our worry and most of our feeling lack is actually like worrying about the future rather than like what's going on right now. Like, what am I lacking right now in this moment? Probably very, very little. That's the reality. Like, there's not much that we're lacking in the moments. It's just like the thinking about what we might be lacking in the future, like, really freaks us out. So, okay, I hope that was helpful. I thought a few of those things were, and I just wanted to share them. So, okay, so now I want to move on to Sichot HaRan 54. So, okay, here we go. So this piece is like a little heavier on the Kabbalistic side, but we're gonna break it down, Mirat Hashem, together. And the main reason why I'm bringing it in is because Rebbe Nachman talks about from this piece, from this Torah, like feeling content, which is obviously the opposite of feeling a lack. And I think it's very important to talk about. So Sichot HaRan, Torah 54. A person must carefully guard his memory so that he does not fall into forgetfulness, the aspect of a demise of the heart. And the essence of memory is to be continuously very mindful of the world to come. One should never entertain the thought, God forbid, that there is only a single world. Through this, that he attaches his thought to the world to come, the unification of Adonai Elohai is achieved. Okay, so what's Rebbe Nachman saying here? A person has to carefully guard his memory so he doesn't fall into forgetfulness. And what does he have to remember? Like, what is this thing that we have to guard our memory for? It's to forever remember that this world here is, as they say, just a hallway and really, like, our whole life and everything that's happening here, even though it seems so real and it seems that this is all there is just like a short little hallway in order to the world to come at the other side. And that's really what we're living for. Recognizing that Hashem is behind everything here, and this is just like a means to an end. That's all it is. So it's really interesting here because that first line that I read, it says, a person has to carefully guard his memory so that he does not fall into forgetfulness. And what's this forgetfulness? It's an aspect of a demise of the heart. And I was reading in the footnotes from Rebbe Nachman, like, you would think, like, why would forgetfulness be a demise of the heart? You would think, like, forgetfulness would be the mind. Like, you forget in your head. You don't forget in your heart. And Rebbe Nachman says on this that actually the heart is like the seat of emotions, and forgetfulness, when we're talking about this, actually comes from emotions, because it's like we are so in this world, and it is in all its glory, and all its intensity and all its wonderful things and difficult things and everything happening at the same time, that it's actually kind of like an emotional protection. Like, it's like kind of like denial. Like, we like to forget that, like, there's a world to come, and like our souls, and that like there's more to it than here, It's like it's so intense, like even like spiritually, let's say, like the separation that we feel from Hashem is so intense that like our hearts just try to like block it off. They just try to like block off, like, no, there was never an Hashem. We were never a part of that. This is just like something else, So I love that. Like, I thought it was, really resonated. Okay. I'm going to keep on reading. So, okay, also, sorry, but so basically, I went on a little tangent here, but basically, so a person has to always remember, right, that there's a world to come, that there's a higher world, there's a higher place than what we see in front of us. And when we do that, we're uniting Hashem's two names, again, Adonai, which is Hashem's name for Rachamim, and Elohai, which is Hashem's name for Din, Chesed and Din. So Hashem's kindness and Hashem's like more stricter judgment type of name. And like, really, it makes sense, because when you're realizing like that the world, that there's another world, then you're realizing that like really everything is one, and that Hashem is one, and both of his names are really Chesed. It's this unification. Okay, so I'm going to skip a little, and we're going to go to 2. This chapter 2 of Likutei Moharan, Torah 54. This aspect of always being mindful of the world to come, i.e., affixing one's thoughts on the world to come, applies in the general and in the particular. In the general, this is how a God-fearing person ought to act. Right when he gets up in the morning, before beginning anything at all, he should immediately remind himself of the world to come. Afterwards, he should do this in the particular. So Rebbe Nachman tells us here, like, a person needs to do this in general, like right away, like just right away, wake up in the morning and know, like, there's a world to come. It's there. And in the particular, meaning he has to go into his personal life and be like, oh, Hashem is here. And oh, Hashem is here. Like, in all these playouts that happen in our life, in all these difficult relationships, in all these, lack of parnasa, right? In all these different things, like, we have to like take a minute and see Hashem in that particular situation. Because this entire world is an enclothing of the lower levels of holiness, the aspect of the feet of holiness. This is still a part of Hashem. It's the lowest level. This world, we're in the, this world, it's like our interface is mainly through Malchus, through the sphere of Malchus. That's like that's like our interface, and that always represents the feet. As it is written in Yeshaya, and the earth is my footstool. Even though from the upper levels of holiness there is likewise a manifestation in this world. However, in this world, the manifestation is not included in the essence, but is only as the radiance that shines in the aspects of the feet. Right? So this is Sphere Somer now. So a quick, like what are the spheres? The spheres are really like Hashem, and there's an order to them, like Keter is on top, and Chachma Bina Das, and it keeps on going, Chesed, whatever, it keeps on going down. And through all these spheros, Hashem is like filtering his intense light into this world until we get to Malchus. And that's really, like as it says here, like it's not included in the essence, but is only as the radiance that shines in the aspect of the feet. Like it's kind of like it's the lowest place. That's where we are. The lowest place where we could, and only from here are we able to really, only like because that this place is the lowest, and when we call to Hashem from this place in specific, because it's so low, are we able to like get to the highest place. Okay, so each day has in it thought, word, and deed. The Holy One, blessed be He, contracts ad infinitum his godliness to the center point of the corporeal world on which man stands. He arranges for him thought, word, and deed according to the particular day and the particular person and the particular place, and he encloses hints for him in this thought, word, and deed that he arranges for him in order to bring him closer to serving him. Therefore, a person has to rigorously immerse thought, word, and deed in this, and to extend his understanding to understand what the particular hints are that are clothed in the thought, word, and deed of this day and the Holy One, that the Holy One has arranged for him, whether in physical labor or business activity. So Hashem contracts himself, but still he's like constantly sending down this thought, word, and deed according to the particular day. And in this are like all different hints and all different ways that we could attach to Hashem. And it's through mundane things. It's through everyday life. It's through physical labor or business activity or relationships or whatever. All these different things, but Hashem is there sending hints and sending different things. And it's our job to see it and to attach to it. And in all this that the Holy One arranges for him each day, he has to deepen and expand his thoughts on this so as to understand the hints of the Holy One, right? Because we could never forget Hashem. We always have to remember there's this world, there's this other world where Hashem exists, where Hashem is like, Hashem exists in this world too, but where everything is clear, as opposed to here where everything is dark. But still, even in this dark world, we always have to be looking for those hints of where Hashem is. Nevertheless, expansion of the intellect in this must be with measure, so that does not go beyond the limit of holiness. He should expand his thought on this only commensurate with the capacity of his intellect. Likewise, he must not look into this beyond his level, because in that which is hidden from you, do not inquire. So even though we always have to look for Hashem in everything, I personally love that Rebbe Nachman is saying this right now, you don't go above where you are. You still have to be straight up and honest and true. Sometimes you talk to people and they're like, oh, I saw Hashem in this and I saw Hashem in that. And you're like, I'm so happy for you. And really you're like, this person might be a wacko, So Rebbe Nachman's saying, and I could be wrong, the person might really have seen it, I don't know. But I'm just saying, the point is, you have to, be real. And, you have to do it you're not supposed to go beyond your level. Okay, I'm just going to skip a little more. Okay. And even someone who knows and understands this, meaning these hints, that is, he merits understanding the hints that Hashem sends him in every matter, and a result wants to occupy himself with this alone, he would i.e. he would occupy himself with only the matters of the world since he understands the hints the Holy One sends through him. Right? So let's say there's a person who only wants, like, forget the Torah and mitzvos. I just want to deal in the mundane world and be like with the hints and like find Hashem through what's going on here. So Rebbe Nachman is saying, but the truth is otherwise. This is not the way to do it. Because a person has to possess the quality of contentment. He has to find contentment in this world with only those things he absolutely needs from this world. So even if we can draw like tons of goodness from this world and tons of hints, as Rebbe Nachman says, and see Hashem in everything, which some people are really gifted in this, right? But still, Rebbe Nachman's warning us here, like, it's still important to just find contentment in this world and only take what you need to take from it. Only take from the physical what you need to take from the physical. And I was reading in the, I think it's going to explain it here. I'm going to read a little longer. Okay, for the reason for this is twofold. The first reason is that the holiness that it clothes itself in the matters of this world is the aspect of the feet, a very low level of holiness. In the meaning the forces of evil are around it always and are eager to draw nourishment from the feet. So basically it could be a trap. Like the klipos are all surrounding like in this aspect of the feet and in this physical world. And like if a person is really like constantly like trying to, you know, intake, then they could end up like falling into this trap with the klipo. And then the second reason is that there is a higher service in this, one which is on a higher level of holiness. A person has to serve Hashem with those higher and more holy forms of service. Like, even though there is so much to draw in this physical world, but really, like, you know, learning Torah, mitzvos, like, that's like what Hashem tells us in the Torah is really the highest form of all, and that's the highest spiritual level. So this piece goes on, it's very long, but I just wanted to bring in that part because that's what has to do with our shiur. But there's this aspect, again, just to like, you know, recap it quick, right? Like we always have to remember that Hashem is in this world and Hashem is here, and we have to look for him in everything and always try to find him in the difficulties, in the blessings, in the shefa, in the lacks, in everything. Like we always have to try and find these hints, right? And Rebbe Nachman's telling us, and like, but the way, like, you know, the way to do that is by learning to be content with what's around us. That's like, and still drawing from this world, but not, I guess, not overindulging. That's to having this, to be content, to be like, to feel like I have enough. Okay, so I wanted to read one last Sichot HaRan piece quick that has to do with like money management and debt and, you know, whatever, not, God forbid, trying to shame anyone or anything even close to that. I personally have found this helpful in different times in my life, this piece of advice, so just giving it over to you. Okay. I heard that the Rebbe once said, if a person did not have trust in Hashem, I'm reading Sichot HaRan 122. I heard that the Rebbe once said, if a person did not have trust in Hashem and wait for his salvation, he would have to become a traveler and a wanderer, just like many. Okay, so here we go. Sichot HaRan 122. I heard that the Rebbe once said, if a person did not have trust in Hashem and wait for his salvation, he would have to become a traveler and a wanderer, just like many people do for their livelihood. The Rebbe was speaking of those who must support a family. In most cases, they do not have an adequate livelihood. They often lack clothing and other necessities, right? It's expensive to support a family. And Rebbe Nachman saying, if he didn't have emunah and just like wait for Hashem's salvation, then he would have to like do everything for parnasa, is what he's trying to say. One person may lack a simple garment. Others may lack fine clothing and mansions. We must wait for Hashem's help and not press the hour from Eruvin. Do not try to take care of all your needs at once, but wait until Hashem shows his mercy. The Rebbe said about himself, if I did not have patience when I needed something, if I would have pressed the hour and demanded it immediately, I would have had to borrow money and become a debtor. I would then be forced to wander and travel, trying to earn money. I would be just like the many others who are forced to go from place to place because of this. So patience, that's what Rebbe Nachman's saying here. Learn to be patient. Like we don't, And this has to do with the food and the money. Like, we don't need everything at once. We could go through, we could just be okay. We could just be content and be patient and hope for more calmly, you know? Realize this and live accordingly. Every man has much that he lacks, right? Every person has a lot that they lack. This includes householders and even the rich. It is also true of those who are supported by others. It is best to be satisfied with the minimum and run your households with what you have at the time. Like, we all feel the lack, but learn to be satisfied. For example, it may appear to you that your wife and children need clothing. They may need it very badly, but still do not press the hour and go into debt for it. Wait until the right time comes and you can pay for your needs. It is better to endure privation than to fall into debt. This is true even regarding food. How much more does it apply to clothing and housing, right? So it is better to just live with less. And this is really like I love this concept, and this is why I wanted to bring in this piece. It is better to be in debt to yourself than be in debt to the storekeeper. It is better to be in debt to your family and owe them the clothing, right? Rebbe Nachman says, I read in one of his books that, like, make a list. Just make a list of everything you owe yourself. You know, I'm going to buy myself a new sheitel. I'm going to buy myself a piece of jewelry. I'm going to buy my kids this, you know, decorate their rooms like they want them to be decorated. Everything will happen, and I owe it to everybody, and I owe it to them, and I owe it to myself, but right now is not the time. In all such matters, you must wait for the proper time. It is written, the eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food in its time, from Tehillim. So everything, Amir Hashem, you know, like we'll make it. We're all gonna live. It's like what we were saying before from ChatGPT. Like, what do I need in this moment? Like, I actually have everything I need. And just, you know, just like to constantly like strengthen that, so that way we don't feel this lack. So I just want to end with a bracha that I give us all a bracha that we should all have tons of parnasa, tons of money in the physical sense, and also just to truly feel completely content and so happy with what we have, what we already have in our wealth, in our relationships, and in ourselves. So thanks so much for listening, and have a wonderful day.